Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we have 7 interesting knives. I could have done 50 interesting knives, so we might have to do a couple different segments of this, but this is the new Kizer Gemini in a shred carbon fiber with gold flakes, but it comes in 20 CV, which is amazing for an incredible price. The action on these are super snappy. I mean, the detent, which is the resistance while it's closed, it closes and it locks itself in place, and then you pull down the flipper tab, and once it breaks the detent, which is what's holding it in, it snaps open, and it is very snappy. You would almost think this thing was an automatic. The action is so good, but great lock bar access. When you unlock it, it does drop down, hit your thumb because it has the flipper tab in the way, and then it is very smooth on its ceramic caged bearings. So it has ceramic caged bearings in the pivot to make it extremely smooth. Then we have a titanium milled pocket clip. This is a Laconico design, which, he has a couple different styles, I guess you could say, but for the most part, he makes very simple designs that are very, very useful. This is not a large knife at all. It would be in the smaller category, but very, very snappy, very easy to carry, and it is a nice and slicey blade. And with this 20 CV steel, you're going to get great edge retention. And this one, out of the box, came incredibly sharp. I've tested some of Kizer's 20 CV in the past and didn't do bad at all. Next, we have the KANSEPT Hazakura. You can see the name right there, the Hazakura. It is a Mac Kachuk design, and in this video we're going to have knives from all different price ranges, and this one comes in multiple different options as well. So this one is more of the premium version. We have a titanium frame lock, a stainless Damascus, and a Damascus inlay that looks very beautiful, and they did it very well. It's, aside from it being 2 different materials, it is basically seamless. I can feel it though. Now, the titanium frame lock is nice and knocked down in all the right places. The lock bar access is very, very nice, very soft to the touch of the thumb when you do unlock it, and it is very glassy smooth on its ceramic caged bearings. Nice flipping action with a minimal flipper, but it does snap out there really, really nicely. And when it closes, it has like a quiet detent as it closes, which, is kind of satisfying. Then we have a titanium milled backspacer and pocket clip. The pocket clip works really well on this one. Like I said, the action is really good. And this is more of a Japanese style tanto, but you do have a decent secondary tip right there for opening things up. More of a straight back design. Very comfortable in the hand. It is a very compact design. I do kind of wish they would have used some of the Damascus on this side, on the clip, or maybe some small inlay, possibly even in the back spacer. But for what it's worth, it is a very, very well-made knife. It feels very well made. And, you can really feel how premium it is when you get it in hand. And they have, like I said, multiple different options of this exact design. The Riat tooling, designed by Jerry Moen. Jerry Moen has custom knives. He's a custom knife maker, and he has some of his knives productionally made by Riat. And Riat is one of, if not the best OEM knife maker out there. They, especially when we're talking about overseas, they have incredible quality, and a lot of the custom makers, when doing a production run of their designs, they like to go to Riat a lot of the times because they know the quality will be there. Now this one is an RWL 34. It's a steel that's very similar to 154 CM. Beautiful drop point blade that's extremely useful for utility cuts or for slicing. Then we have the handle here. that is extremely comfortable, because it kind of has that teardrop effect where it's a little thinner up here, but then it gets nice and you know, a little bit thicker back here. It's nice and contoured. It's very nice in the hand, and the action on it is really good. We have a top flipper, very nice jimping on the top, very easy to front flip. You don't go really from the actual front, but you can. It's more of a top flipper, but you also have this hole that is very well placed for the reverse flick. The thumb flick, you can get it. You just kind of got to swing your thumb out to the side like that, but you can also slow roll it. Access to the lock bar, not the best. That is my biggest complaint about this. I wish they would have at least added the same jimping right here onto this flipper tab like he does on his custom knives. But yeah, that's my biggest complaint. I do wish they would have either made a cutout or chamfered the edges, did something instead of just cutting it straight off. It's not that hard to get to, but you know, it can be annoying. But it is an amazing knife. And then we have a milled titanium pocket clip with a ceramic ball inside of it. So you know, slip the seam of your pants right underneath that ceramic ball. And then the back spacer has an integrated lanyard pin back here, so you can hang a lanyard. Nice jimping. It's not too sharp, but it is, you know, definitely adds some texture to it, you know, a little tactile feel. Very nice knife though. Next, more of a budget option. This is the new CIVIVI button lock flipper. Now, the COGENT is the name of it, the CIVIVI COGENT. The CIVIVI COGENT is a very snappy button lock. The detent is really nice, or what acts as the detent, you know, the plunge lock. Works really good. Very snappy. And then you have the button right here that you push, and as soon as you push it, it drops down. It's very smooth when you hold the button. It is on bearings. I also can reverse flick it very easily, but because it's so smooth, it's very fun to fidget with. Very fun. The ergos on this thing is really nice. It feels very comfortable in the hand. You do feel the clip a little bit, but it is a reversible deep carry clip, so it's going to seat nice and deep into your pocket. Then we have jimping that runs up pretty far, lands right where I want it to. You can take advantage of the flipper tab right there if you want to do some push cuts. And the drop point blade in 14C 28N steel. I love that steel. It's a great stainless steel. CIVIVI does an incredible job with it. They heat treat it very well. It's going to be good for utility cuts, slicing, push cuts, basically everything. It's going to be a very jack of all trades blade shape, a blade shape that's good for just about everything. Good geometry on it. It does get nice and thin behind the edge. And yeah, very easy to deploy even if you're left-handed, because you just use your pointer finger instead of your thumb. So this one will work out great for righties and lefties. T8 hardware all the way around. I love seeing that. And the ceramic bearings, man, just makes us very smooth. Let's get to the next one. Next is a Tucson that's designed by the Mokhtars. So it was actually drawn up by a 9-year-old, the son of one of the Mokhtars. And then we have Mazwan Mokhtar here, and they collabed to make this design. But the original drawing was drawn up by a 9-year-old. And I love frag pattern. Frag pattern always gets me, and this frag pattern is very nice. Nice and deep, very nice in the hand. And then the action on it has a nice, strong, snappy detent. Very smooth on the drop. It is on ceramic caged bearings again, so it is very smooth. The blade shape has a lot of belly in it. but you can easily, because of the way the handle design is and how it canters back right here, it goes right into your palm. It's easy to do utility cuts. You know, you're going to have to lift up a little bit higher, but you can get them. And then you have a lot of belly, and it is very nice in the hand for a compact little knife, because this is not a large knife. So it's nice in these pinch grips, and the way the handle goes, you know, it nestles in your hand really nicely. So it's going to be really good for opening things up, you know, and you can get away with doing push cuts and slicing just fine. It's not a finger choil, but you can use this as a finger choil, especially in like these little pinch grips. Flat ground M390 blade. So we do have a great steel on this one. Super, super snappy. Now, the lock bar access, they didn't really give you much lock bar access. However, it isn't very hard. It's pretty easy to unlock. I do wish they would have put a little chamfer on the edge or something right there for access to the lock bar, but it does work just fine. The clip, not a big fan of the clip. I do wish they would have put this cutout on the inside, or possibly just used a different clip, but you know, regardless, it's still a good quality knife. And I like that it uses internal stop pins on the inside. You can see it moving right there. So it locks up very, very solid. And it is rock solid. Awesome, awesome knife. Let's get to the next one. The CIVIVI Drifter. Now this comes in a couple different options. It's in Nitro V steel, or no, sorry, I'm sorry, S35 VN steel. I made the mistake. It is an S35 VN, so fantastic steel, especially for the price. Very thin hollow grind. This thing gets ridiculously thin behind the edge. Very nice in the hand, and it has that really nice modern traditional look. Now, you have a fuller here that you can thumb roll, and you can two-hand open it, but you can also use your nail inside of it and reverse flick it. And I find it very, very easy to do. Now you also have the top flipper that also works incredibly well. We have a deep carry clip that is inset with flat screw, so nothing's going to get in the way. Now that is not a reversible clip, so this is mostly for right-handed people, but if you are left-handed and you don't mind carrying on this side, it is still very easy to deploy because it is a liner lock. We have micarta and carbon fiber. But like I said, there are other options. They have a darker micarta. They have a few different options. But then there's also a slip joint version of this, because this is the Drifter 2. They have the Drifter 1, which is just a, it's basically like a double detent knife. So, which it still flips. You can still flip it and everything, but you don't have a lock. Like this one is locked. Very solid too. Very, very nice. Lock up. Awesome, awesome knife. This is probably one of the best cutters you're going to find in this category, like, you know, with a knife of this design and everything, because it is incredibly slicey. You do have to worry about that tip, though. You're not going to want to do anything heavy duty with the tip, but for just opening things up and using a knife as a knife, this is an amazing, amazing little knife. I do wish the access to the lock bar was cut out a little bit more, but it's not horrifying. And then last is the Kizer Deviant M390 steel. They have two different versions of this, but both of them are an M390 steel. Then this one has, which I did a force patina on. Originally, it was just raw copper, but we have the copper bolster with a micarta scale. Now, they have another version with white, that's white and black, like a tuxedo look. The action is so smooth. I've heard people complain about feeling the bearings. This is not one of those knives. This thing is super solid, very, very smooth. You do not feel the bearings at all. And it does make it feel a little more high end. Which it's not like it's a very cheap knife or anything, but for the materials, you're getting a great, great value. We have a deep carry clip that is inset, that's screwed in from the inside. Now it's not reversible. Access to the lock bar is very nice. Super, super smooth. And we have a stone washed and then a hand satin flat on the top. So the blade shape is a really good blade shape for utility cuts and opening things up. Not a really big knife, but it's in that happy medium place where, you know, it's not too small, not too big. It's just right for most people. You can easily reverse flick it. The detent, not a crazy strong detent, but in my opinion, a perfectly well-tuned detent for this style knife. And this is a sheepdog design, by the way. So there you guys go. I appreciate you guys watching. I love you guys. Peace.